What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. The flowers are blooming, the fruit is setting, and it's time for what you asked for, a full spring garden tour. Let's go! Let's start things off by checking out some of the fruit in the old food forest. Let's check out this Rainier cherry right here. So this Rainier cherry I put in a number of years ago, and this year it's got an insane amount of fruit, more than it ever has. So in the past, my cherries have done relatively well, but I had a little bit of an issue with pollination. But as time progressed, I've added in a few different varieties, and that has made all the difference. Now, if you check out these cherries, like they're just starting to fall off the casings, but there's so many cherries loaded underneath it all. So we're looking at a decent harvest here. This is the Rainier cherry, and these ones are so sweet, so good. This is a sweet cherry. And then as we move along over here, we've got our giant hazelnuts that just tower in the garden. It's so beautiful. This hazelnut last year was insanely productive for me. You'll notice as we come down here, there's a bunch of hazelnuts in the ground that are all cracked and broken. So there was an insane amount of hazelnuts on it last year, but for some reason they were all blanks. So like this is a good hazelnut, you crack into it, and it's just a blank in there. So contrary to what most people think, that's actually not because of bad pollination. If it was bad pollination, the shell never would have happened. So I've been doing research, and some people aren't exactly sure why sometimes it's blank, but we're hoping for a good harvest this year, because if they're not blank, this thing would have been insane how much fruit. So right here we've got the 3 grafted pear tree, and this is an Asian pear, one of my most productive pears. You'll notice this white stuff all over the fruit. So this right here is Surround, and all Surround is, it's a kaolin clay powder, and it's a protectant. So this isn't going to damage or hurt any of your insects themselves, really. All it's going to do is protect the fruit from the insects actually going at it. So we have one really bad insect that's local in the East Coast, and it's the plum curculio. It'll cut into this fruit and lay its eggs inside of it, and then that rots the fruit and destroys it. So when you have this kaolin clay on it, this clay protects it. It kind of prevents them from coming in and cutting into it, because this clay, what it does is it gums up their reproductive organs. So it's really discouraging. So it's not 100% use that it's going to work, but it definitely helps protect the trees. Right here we've got an asparagus patch of some stuff just popping up. You'll notice right here. Tuck usually loves these asparagus. Hey Tuck, want asparagus, boy? This guy usually loves these. He comes and snacks on them. Sometimes we have to keep him out of the garden, because if we let him in here too long, he'll just find them. Want one right here, boy? He'll just find them and bite them down. See, like just like that. He finds the one he likes, and then all of a sudden he just cracks it and starts snacking. So these fences are to keep animal pests out, but we also got to keep Tuck out sometimes, because once in a while he can get a little greedy. We'll let him snack on that asparagus, and there's a lot more coming up here as we move along. Right here is the persimmon tree. This is our latest producing tree, and this will be ready in like October, November, so we have a lot of time on this one. But there's plenty of things to show in the forest. I don't want to get stuck on one thing, so let's keep moving. And we've got this food forest here that I put in a long time ago, but I've got the new food forest that I'm going to show you too, and anyone can have that. It did not take a long time at all. Right here we've got a black Tartarian cherry. Like I mentioned, we added more cherries because we want that better pollination. So this black Tartarian, if you look up, we've got a lot of good fruit production on it. So how it's working out for us is we've got the Bing cherry as our first, that flowers first, and then the black Tartarian comes with that after that, and then it's the Rainier, and then it's the gold in the back. So we have a long flowering period to get good pollination. Right here we've got the fig tree. So this thing's just waking up. I wrapped that over the year, and I've cloned it many times. And then right next to me here is another pear. And this is the white doyen pear, and you notice we have the kaolin clay on it. We're going to spray it a number of more times with the clay. Then as I move along this section here, this is where we have our grapes that I put in a long time ago. This trellis is going to need a little fixing up, but it's done incredibly well over the years for me so far. And on this right side here, we've got the Niagara grape, right here, the New York grape. And then over here, we've got the Catawba. So those are both native to North America grapes. Those are a lot of times the ones I like to focus on, because I'm in North America and they tend to do best with a lot of the issues and diseases. Right here is one of my ultimate pride and joys, the whole entire garden. Like if you guys have been following the channel, you probably know about this. This is the Prigioni apple. This is the apple that I grew from seed, years ago, and it is insanely productive this year. There are so many apples all over it. So it's not a huge apple. It's like a relatively small apple, but It's Spritey. It's got a little bit of sour, but it's also very sweet. It's an incredible flavor, and no one else in the world has this apple besides me and Tuck. This is the Prigioni apple. So much flowers this year and so much fruit, which is a great sign that always gets us excited. And then above me here, we've got some of the monster peach trees. These ones I put in a long time ago too. You can see how large they are, and you could also see how we prune these. We prune these to an open structure. We want a lot of light and a lot of airflow. I'm on the north side of the garden, so we want these trees to be taller so they can apex over things and get good light. So that's one of the reasons we have these so tall here. And then as the trees kind of go that way, they descend in height, so it keeps light coming in. Right here, you'll notice, coming up this is our Concord grape, another American grape. This is one of the best grapes if you want to try to grow it in your backyard because it's got a good disease resistance. It's just an excellent overall grape. The flavor is amazing. And one of the things that you'll never really notice unless you grow a Concord grape yourself is the smell. Once this thing is close to ripe, you could walk within like 10 feet of it and the smell just blows you away. It's incredible. So right here, we've got the almond tree. So this is the all-in-one almond. We've never had that much luck on it, but we've got almonds this year. So that's a great sign. And we've got a number of them over at the top too. This is, again, is an all-in-one, so it's a self-pollinating. Most self-pollinating trees, it's still good to get more than one variety because just because it's self-pollinating doesn't mean it's gonna have a very good pollination rate. Then this right here is the queen of the whole entire food forest. She's the queen and the king, or whatever you want to call her. This is the Bing cherry. This thing is a monster, and we've never had more fruit on this. It's just absolutely loaded with cherries. So we're gonna spray this with the plum curculio, with the surround as well, to prevent that plum curculio. So the fruit trees this year have way more fruit than they've ever had. I'm talking 10x fruit, which is very exciting and very encouraging for me and Tuck. And even the new food forest is just loaded with fruit this year. So here's another cherry tree that we put in, a big one, an old one. There's not a cherry tree, a peach tree. There's a cherry right here, an older cherry, loaded. This is a gold cherry. So this one's got a lot of cherries on it too. So this year is definitely seems like it could be a bumper crop for cherries with the sheer number of cherries we have on here. Let's move over into the section right here where we've got these raised beds. And these are just the raised beds I built a couple of years ago. And these raised beds have produced a lot of food, but it's also kind of changed the way I garden too. I've had so much fun building the soils within the beds. Like that's like my new thing, like building my own soil, trying to switch how I build it and cater it to different kinds of plants. I'm having an incredible amount of fun with that. That's why I love gardening so much, because there's always something new to learn and always something new to try. So this food forest is absolutely thriving. There's a lot more stuff to show you. Even like when you look down, if you look over here in the Prigioni apple section, underneath the Prigioni apple, we're just absolutely loaded with currants in here. Look at this. We're talking a fat currant harvest. These are my favorite currants. I believe these are the white ones. Yeah, so good. So a lot of currants underneath an apple tree. So we're always trying to double that yield by using all different space. So we've got some more apple trees and stuff loaded in here, but let's finish off this food forest and move into the younger food forest, which is only on in about its 4th year, which is a very pivotal year when we're talking fruit trees. Let's pop into the new food forest now. We'll start off with this keyhole raised bed that I just built. And I made the soil in here myself, and like I just mentioned, I'm having a lot of fun building the soil. It could seem a little dry at the top here because I don't have any mulch down right now, but as you move just a tiny bit off, it's very moist and nice and light and airy, and just exactly what we want to see. I've got stuff growing in here already. We've got some beets doing well, lettuces, and some onions and stuff too. A little behind my stuff over on this Birdie's raised bed here. So this Birdie's raised bed is where I've grown my stuff that's the furthest along. So I started this stuff a little earlier. It had some help with the cover and stuff, and it's looking fantastic in my opinion. So these Birdie's raised bed, I love them. They work really well, and I got a coupon code TUCK if you guys want to try out one of these. They're fantastic. I'm going to be adding a few more this year, actually in about a month or so. Let's keep progressing. You'll notice this section right here, we've got strawberries galore. They're just starting to flower. I've got this beautiful row of strawberries. We're getting a lot this year, that's for sure. Blueberries next to that, and then blueberries back along the fence line too. These blueberries have a lot of flowers on them. Just wait till I show you the blueberries in the side garden though. That thing is crazy. Over here, we've got some Asian pears. Here's the Surrey Ah, I believe it's called. And then over here's the Suli. And then we've got another pear next to us over here. Then as we move this way, we've got some apples that are looking fantastic. They've got some good fruit on them already. Really excited about this. So this is the 4th year of the apple. I talked a little bit about before how the 4th year of a fruit tree is pivotal. So we've got sayings with fruit trees. It goes like this. The first year, first they sleep, second year they creep, third year they leap. And then the 4th year is when you could usually get some fruit, and the 5th year. So we already slept, we crept, we leapt, and now we're producing fruit, which is very exciting. And we've got a number of apples. That right there is the Belmac, and we also have the Bella. We've got disease-resistant apples. I'll show you a few more varieties as we continue to progress. And then this is a section where we're growing a lot of our annuals that are doing incredibly well. Some of this stuff started a little early. As you notice along here, we've got some carrots that are far ahead, doing real well. This section, all carrots. Tuck's gonna love that. We've got spinaches, lettuce, onions, and then let me show you some of these brassicas right here. So I just did a video and showed you guys how this plant was getting decimated by the cabbage loopers. We sprayed it with the BT, and now look at it. Incredible new growth. Brassica's looking real good. So we're hoping to get great harvests out of those. We've got some radishes and stuff ready. This is actually some of the first annuals ready of the year. Hey Tuck, you want a snack, boy? Tuck usually likes the radishes too. Look at these little babies, so good. I think these are the pink lady slipper. Tuck, want one, boy? So Tuck usually loves these. Nice little shape on them. He's gonna run right through. Let's see if he likes these guys. He always loves his fresh root crops. We'll let him snack on that as we continue to progress. So a lot of the things are doing real well in here. More garlic. As we move over to the right, we've got some more disease-resistant, excellent-looking apples. Here's the Williams Pride. Man, I'm proud of this tree. Look at it. Beautiful. And then this apple isn't as productive right now. We've got peas along the fence line here, and many other peas back there. You'll notice right here, we've got some peas that are growing, and then peas that are just coming up. And then I also have peas in a different section that I just planted. The reason I'm doing this is to stagger my plantings so I can extend my harvest. And this way I'll have some peas that are ready to produce early. They'll finish up, and then I can get those cucumbers in this section, and that kind of staggers the cucumbers too. So I just like extending my harvest. You'll notice right here we've got so many strawberries through here. There were so many strawberries and so thick I had to come through and actually take a lot of them out around the bases of the trees, but this is what I love to see. We want a ground cover of strawberries, all edible and almost as tall as Tuck. When they're standing up, you know, their leaves are praying, looking for the sun. Right here we've got a young persimmon tree. This is a Fuyu persimmon. We've got the persimmon that you eat when it's very soft because it's an astringent one, and this is a non-astringent persimmon, so we have both kinds. Next to us right here we've got a Betty peach. This thing is just very productive, looking very good. So we're hoping for a good harvest on this one too. So now that all the casings are coming off, we're gonna start spraying these with the surround. And then underneath us here, we've got a Cannabis grape. And along all the fence lines in the garden, there are grapes. So you've got the Cannabis grape, you've got the Einset grape, and you've got just a bunch of other grapes over there. Now I want to take you over to a section. It's a food forest that I put in that specializes in berry production. Now we're over in the food forest that specializes in berries. You'll probably notice because right next to me here is a monster blueberry, and I got a lot more I'm going to show you too that are huge. So many flowers on this, and we've done a good job pruning it and keeping it nice and open, I think. Now I'm going to show you my favorite kind of raspberries. These are the black cap raspberries, and the flavor is amazing. So good, almost reminds me of like a Jolly Rancher or something. It's got a tart but very sweet flavor, and I'm tying them up with this metal wire right here. And if you'll notice, a lot of these are side branches. That's where you're gonna get all the production on these black caps. Right here we've got a pear, an Asian pear that has a lot of fruit on it. So we'll be spraying this one with a surround very soon. And then as we back up here, we've got a nice apple right here. Here's the wine sap apple. It's been pretty productive for me in the past, and it's got a lot of apples on it this year. But let's talk a little bit more about the berries. So I'm in New Jersey, and we're known for blueberries. That's one of the things. I believe down south from where I am, Hamilton, I think New Jersey is known as like the blueberry capital of almost the world. So we've got a lot of blueberries in because we like to focus on things that do well in our particular environment, make those foundational pieces, and then fill in some stuff around it. So again, here, another blueberry. And I'm gonna have to go around, and I already did it once, but as I pull this back, I put some compost and stuff around the base of these to try to feed them, because with this much berry production, we need a lot of water and a lot of nutrition. Another monster right here. And as we just continue along, we've got more and more berries. And some of these varieties are the Duke and the Chandler, which have the huge blueberries, like quarter-sized. And if there's one section that gets neglected in the whole backyard, it's probably this more than any other. So there are a few weeds here. But overall, this food forest basically takes care of itself. It's pretty low maintenance. And then to finish things off, we've got the Almada red apple. This is the red fleshed apple. So I haven't got any fruit to finish on this one yet, but I'm excited for it this year. And even just the smell of the flowers, it's incredible. It'll take your breath away. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. These tours of the food forest where I get to bring you along with me and show you the progression of how everything's gone over the years. They're some of my favorite videos, and I hope you do get something out of them. A lot of you have been following for a few years, so you've seen how the forests have changed when we added the new one in and stuff. And I know there may not be a crazy amount of things that are super exciting to see right now, but I think this video will be really valuable to go back and look, a month from now, 2 months from now, just to see how much the forest changes. If you guys enjoyed the video though, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share with your friends. Don't forget to check out the merch down low. And remember, whenever you're on Amazon, start your shopping with our Amazon affiliate link. Before I let you guys go, I wanted to thank Daniel Soden. He's one of the newest channel members, one of the newest members of Team Grow. So I appreciate your support, brother. Me and Tuck do a lot. And we'll be out here continually making videos, and this is just the start. Spring literally just happened. It's May 1st today, so me and Tuck have so much more to bring you guys, and I mean, it's tough to put into words how excited we are about it. Thanks guys, we'll be back at you again real soon. Tuck and James, we